What happened to Travis Hunter, celebrated as the superior dual threat player in college football history during the baffling match against Stanford? That night, Hunter, an exceptional cornerback and recognized as the nation's finest, appeared to have misplaced his familiar playbook. Bizarrely, he didn't even attempt to intercept the ball, instead always spinning around to catch it at its zenith, which was a complete departure from his normal style. He was more like a walking dead, merely a shell of his previous fiery personality. He also accumulated personal foul penalties that were out of character. The image of him showing no interest in pursuing a receiver who just received the ball from him was in stark contrast to the dogged Hunter we were familiar with, the never-say-die player. This mystery has left many fans and analysts scratching their heads since that critical game on the 13th of October 2023. Was it a mere off night, or is there a deeper scientific factor in play? Was it because, due to the late start of the game, it fell way beyond Hunter's normal bedtime? Night games can be dangerous for teams accustomed to earlier bedtimes, such as Travis Hunter's team, the Colorado Buffaloes. It's an unfair advantage that should be addressed to prevent hazardous situation. It's crucial to mention that the Colorado Buffaloes are slated to face the Oregon State Beavers on November 4th. There's an urgent need to adjust the game time to avert a repeat of the Stanford situation. We should also note that the Air Force football team is scheduled to play against Hawaii on November 11th at 9 p.m. In both these matchups, the Colorado and Air Force teams are habituated to Mountain Standard Time, while Oregon State and Hawaii operate on later time zones. Could it have been the probable impact of cortisol, the stress hormone, that affected his gameplay and resulted in his subpar performance? Stick with us as we investigate further into a captivating scientific theory that might unlock this perplexing question. To understand the potential reason behind Travis's poor performance, we first need to comprehend the science of sleep. Sleep, as we all know, is an essential physiological process that significantly contributes to our general health and well-being. It's not merely a passive state of rest but an active period of restoration and rejuvenation. Now, the timing and duration of our sleep aren't random. Instead, they're regulated by an internal biological clock known as the circadian rhythm. This rhythm, like an unseen orchestra conductor, synchronizes our bodily functions with the natural light-dark cycle of the day. It tells us when to sleep, when to wake, and even when to eat. But how does this internal clock manage to keep such precise time? Enter melatonin, our body's natural sleep hormone. Produced by the pineal gland in response to darkness, melatonin signals our brain that it's time to wind down and prepare for sleep. Its levels typically rise in the evening, peak during the night, and decline towards morning, thereby shaping our sleep-wake cycle. Now here's the catch. Our circadian rhythm and melatonin secretion are sensitive to changes in our routine, such as altering our bedtime. And guess what? That's exactly what happened to Travis Hunter on the night of the game. So, what happens when this vital process is disrupted? Stay tuned to find out. Enter melatonin, the hormone that holds the key to our sleep-wake cycles. Melatonin is a fascinating hormone produced by our pineal gland with a primary role of regulating our sleep patterns. One might ponder how it accomplishes this. The secret lies in timing. As the day transitions into evening and the ambient light dims, our bodies initiate the production of melatonin. This hormone sends a signal to our brains that it's time to wind down and prepare for rest. The levels of melatonin continue their ascent throughout the night, peaking in the early hours and then gradually decrease as dawn breaks. This natural ebb and flow of melatonin secretion helps keep our internal clocks, or circadian rhythms, synchronized with the external environment. But what happens when this rhythm gets disrupted? Take Travis Hunter as an example. A late-night football game threw his regular sleep schedule off balance. His internal clock, accustomed to an uptick in melatonin levels at a particular time, would have been thrown into chaos. Herein lies the extended role of melatonin, not just inducing sleep, but also regulating other hormones vital for athletic performance like testosterone, adrenaline, and cortisol. Testosterone, the driving force behind muscle development and strength, and adrenaline or epinephrine, the hormone that kicks in during high-stress situations, enhancing our focus and accelerating our reactions. However, melatonin, when released at inappropriate times, can inhibit the release of these hormones. In comes cortisol, a hormone released in response to stress and low blood glucose concentration. Although beneficial in metabolism, cortisol can suppress the immune system, decrease bone formation, and if secreted excessively under disrupted sleep conditions, can lead to a decrease in athletic performance. Studies show that melatonin suppresses the release of luteinizing hormone, which is responsible for stimulating testosterone production. Similarly, melatonin has inhibitory effects on the sympathetic nervous system, which regulates adrenaline and cortisol release. So, in the case of Travis Hunter, a disrupted sleep pattern could trigger a domino effect, resulting in decreased testosterone, adrenaline, and cortisol levels, which could potentially hamper his performance on the football field. Now, let's on this. How does a late-night football game impact this delicate hormonal balance? I'll leave that thought with you as we delve deeper into this intriguing topic in the next scene. Travis Hunter's regular sleep schedule was significantly altered due to the late game start time. As a disciplined athlete, his routine typically involves waking up at 4:30 in the morning and retiring to bed by 9 in the evening. However, the game against Stanford, which kicked off at 8 in the evening, didn't wrap up until past midnight. This meant Travis was still on the field well past his normal bedtime. Now, you may be wondering, could this really impact his performance? Well, let's delve a little deeper. This late-night activity would have likely caused a discord between his internal circadian rhythm, the biological clock that regulates our sleep-wake cycles, and the external cues of light and darkness. Essentially, his body would have been prepared for sleep, but the demands of the game kept him awake and active. This disruption to his sleep schedule could have significant consequences. Most notably, it could impact the secretion of melatonin, the hormone responsible for inducing sleep. Typically, our bodies start producing melatonin in the evening, with levels peaking in the middle of the night and then gradually decreasing towards morning. By being awake and active during this crucial time, Travis's melatonin production could have been thrown off balance. This disruption likely had deeper repercussions. The alteration in his sleep routine could lead to a ripple effect, impacting other hormones and bodily functions. But let's explore that further in our next scene. Cortisol doesn't just have negative impacts on stress levels, it also plays a significant role in affecting athletic performance. Much like a well-oiled machine, the body relies on all of its parts to function effectively, with hormones serving as the vital messengers ensuring everything is running smoothly. Let's take a moment to analyze cortisol, an essential hormone that can significantly influence an athlete's performance. Cortisol, often referred to as the stress hormone, is an important player in the realm of sports performance. At elevated levels, cortisol can lead to muscle breakdown, impacting an athlete's strength and endurance. It is the hormone that may hinder athletes in gaining the necessary physical capabilities they need to excel. Furthermore, cortisol can also contribute to mental fatigue, which directly impacts an athlete's focus and decision-making abilities, crucial components for any football strategy. Now here's the vital part. The levels of cortisol in the body can be affected by factors such as disrupted sleep patterns. Research indicates that a disrupted melatonin secretion pattern, such as the one Travis Hunter might have experienced due to his altered sleep routine, could lead to elevated cortisol levels, causing muscle breakdown and mental fatigue. This could have had a direct impact on his physical prowess and strategic thinking on the field. The question then becomes, are these hormonal changes enough to affect an athlete's performance? The studies seem to think so. A well-regulated hormonal balance is pivotal for top-notch athletic performance, and any disruption to this balance could potentially have harmful effects. So, could this disruption in melatonin secretion, leading to possible elevated cortisol levels, be the reason for Travis Hunter's poor performance against Stanford? It's a query that brings up a fresh viewpoint on the intricate relationship between sleep, hormones, and athletic performance. Could this be the reason for Travis's poor performance? Travis Hunter's performance against Stanford could have been a result of more than just a bad day. The late kickoff time could have thrown off his sleep schedule, disrupting his internal circadian rhythm. This disruption could have had a domino effect, offsetting his melatonin secretion patterns, and potentially leading to a decrease in testosterone levels, a hormone crucial for athletic performance. Hunter's regular sleep routine, which involves waking up at 4:30 in the morning and going to bed at 9 in the evening, was significantly disrupted due to the late game start time. The game, which ended at past midnight, was well past his usual bedtime. This misalignment between his internal rhythm and external factors could have had a significant impact on his performance on the field. The role of melatonin in this scenario cannot be overstated. As a hormone secreted in response to darkness, melatonin plays a key role in regulating sleep-wake cycles. However, disrupted melatonin secretion can influence other hormone production, including testosterone and adrenaline, both of which are crucial for athletic performance. Reduced testosterone levels can impact muscle development, strength, and overall performance, while decreased adrenaline levels can affect alertness, focus, and reaction time, all of which are vital for a defensive player in football. In essence, The disruption in Hunter's sleep schedule could have led to a decreased release of these crucial hormones, thereby affecting his performance. To put it simply, our bodies are a complex system of interconnecting mechanisms. One disruption, such as a change in sleep schedule, can have wide-ranging effects, potentially impacting physical performance. And in the competitive world of college football, even the slightest edge or disadvantage can make all the difference. So, before we judge an athlete's performance, perhaps we need to consider the behind-the-scenes factors, like a disrupted sleep schedule. After all, the human body is more than just muscle and bone. It's a finely tuned machine where even the smallest cog plays a critical role.